nekararan nebo boiboiyet ak nebo borotet.
Kongoi mising. Kakas ing'olole ng'alekab polotet. Kameche kityo akon two comments ing kebeberi amu ngalen ingen ane ko kiaeku chitab WIDU ako WIDU ko ma WIDO, makergei ak WIDO. WIDU ko WIDU.
Yes sir.
Ako mi chito agenge ne ngot ko koi konyo yu kikure Titus Rotich, kinyorune WIDU space neng'ung'et eng betut age nekiami. Ko biik alak kokere kuo kiek tangoita ng'alek cheking'alale, but kiip Titus ak nyipkocheng ang LinkedIn keng'alal one on one. Achengchi chito eng Germany kotoretkei tuwai ko melen kalosu, but kikiapprovenchi project nebo 800,000 shillings. Nyoru grant 50% 400,000. So chito neimuchi kokere kolen nguo tangoch ng'alechu kemwoe komie kokere kora kole connections chenyorchin biik space neu neng'ung, ko ngot koek serious chito ako kobwat akwo koruchi akosich, cham kemwoe ng'olyo neuno kilen kakiruchi akisich.
Ako malo ai iyoin arap taman ak agenge.
Koi November ako kiriakta werotok, so kotoi project kikure in Maton City eng yumbo mi kapiemit.
Kapiemit ngano?
Ininda ng'wong.
Olinyo ya chitab kokwenyu.
Bo kokweng'ung Titus, boisie eng Tivet College, actually is a principal in Tivet College.
Yes.
So ma tuguk chetango chekilen takoloekitu kobendi olilolin, and I mean I'm really happy amu biik chok chebo kalenjin kotieme kong'etin koingian mitei the latest one nekityeme ketoret ko chepyoso nebunu kekure Kamorir anan Kamorir eng Chepolungu ne boisie keturekab nego kokenye mayaik, yani tube mayaik eng keturekab nego kwa mulolong eng keturek kokenyi arekab ngokaik. It's an amazing thing, you know. So kike somebody nemitei kikure Elvis Arap Sang nemitei yumbo Ndubenet ing Nandi County kocham chepyosonato komach kotoret konyo kocheng'a kokwanyoru chito eng Germany neiku partner nenyinet. We are going for a 200,000 investment eng chepyosonat sikonyor incubator simakoboisie keturekab nego kong'ete kokenyi mayaik sikonyor incubator neboisie stimet ne automatic, so every 21 days at least or 1 month komuchi kokeny arek 300 sikoistoegei keturekab nego. So kimuchi keng'alale siasa. We cannot all be governors. There can only be one governor out of 780 or 800 or 1 million people in Nandi. There can only be one governor in Kericho nebo 1.2 million people. There can only be one governor in Bomet nebo sijui how many people. We cannot all be governors, but we can all be businessmen and businesswomen. That's the reality. Mamiji neetechi maek businesswoman anan businessman kobate imuchi koeten ngurainikab biik meeku governor anan isakte iku governor. So ndakameche ketoretkei komite oranato nabo WIDU. Ak ingenchigei Tilingi amu ikere tuguk cheyoe eng Septonok. It started like a joke. Kikona WIDU 400,000, acheru 400,000 and my manager, we are starting a project nebo poultry nebo 800k. Ndekere rani kaketoi foundation ra, and exactly what you are telling people. Kiacheng'a biik chekidesignani logo anyoru muren nebunu Kaolin nekure Henry Bosuben. Ko ki competitive amu kiameche chitugul konyo nyokotien chitugul kole merewet akararan, kole kipng'asit akararan, kole ne akararan, akot ipkekei akine konyo nyokole akararan. Ngalen kitiro kinyo konyo chepchenge akine nyokole akararan. Kikochin chitugul nafas.
Kakere kelum pols ni kole komi chito nekalechin kotama indei concrete kale kotindei takalkal.
Kale kotandei takalkal. Chorwenyu Isaac Arap kure Isaac Arap Koskei. The only detail nemanai Isaac ko chito ne teleljin this project kora ko competitive. Amu kia advertise ale ameche a contractor. kobit an architect nyokokon gei, so kole the architect there is no problem, malazima kinde takalkal, ngot ketuje barak komanyo kotolilse beek, lakini ngot ko ketit neilumdoi ngewanin ko ngot komende takalkal akoi korokanchi simendi nyokonune iman amu nyokong'ete kotolile beek in simendi sikonun. Kit nekameche asom Tilingi ko in ma WIDU anan WIDU komelen kele supporteni ngokaik ichekei. Today we did an application takename sine kelen oyie mo ngoelgei gymnast mo, but potentially something around ikure kiptekang nandil kotauke a project nebo about 300 and ngele 790,000 almost 800,000 shillings nebo chito newendi koboe sekemik, ribe sekemik kabisa eng oret nemite barak sikobesio kumiat ak temeniet akobesio in ng'wonet ya kautin sekemiat kole ikere kobite borto, komi lekicherundoi in ng'wonetab sekemik kikei sikekicher kole tutukin atyo kechop koek kiy. Biik alak chememuchi konai ko memuchi biik alak konai kole kitoreten, but ngokemeche inai ko ngiile koros kosire ng'alek che alak, chito nekotoko kitikin nenyinet koetu kabisa.
Zire cheptiring bet.
Ole loo nea. Ole loo. So the bottom line is ongejeng silingi number 1, number 2 ngomite tuguk cheuchu chebo WIDU atinye problem neo nebo kwong'ut eng biik chechang chekong'ololu amu inyoru chito nelechin nameche itoreto cheng'wo chito bitonin amamwaun. You know me Tilingi, and what I always say, I'm one of the easiest guys to talk to. All you need to do is to come and say, urena Tilingi, abunu Chepyogoris, atinye mbaret eka somok, ameche akol viasik, atinye siling 500 kityo, ako kolsane viasik komeche siling 2,000. Ndanyoru chito nekinamegei tuwai sikokona 1,000, kebe WIDU keibu chepkondok chenyatore akole viasichu. A sort of a narrative netoreto aelewan ale ichobot netya chichi ako oret neimeche iwe ko chito neichenge ko nebunu ano asikomuch otuye tuwai soboisie eng oranatak, etc. Ara nginyo kityo kilecho mamwauge akot age, akere nguno kit nekanyokosirwa eng yo lekai kole daktari, atinye project nekararan nea, mamwao kole project ne, mamwao kole bo siling ata, mamwao kole mito ano, cheng'wo chito bitonin. Ibalechini ne as chito, alechini kanyoru chito nemite yu nekako inbox eno chepkukit netui kat anan lelel kat, amangen ale kikure ng'o, mangen ale tia tonon, mangen ale kikwae mung'arani, cham chichoto akikochi chepkondok akikochi time neng'ung. How do I start? Ataundoi ano?
Ilengeken olakai kotakina olakai bet komi chito nekanyo kolecho hello Jomba, happy birthday, ukipata kazi reverse I do clean business. Weri korok kureke sekemiat korok mangen itole ng'o isi ako kakotoi kolechin ae clean business nebo ne.
Yeah. Kokergang nekamite and if you went to my post nekobo today, kait chito nyo kolecho mi kasisinonin, alechi no. Kolecho akot neking'ete sijui nebo ne, alechi no. Kole okay toreto kono scholarship. I mean, I'm not DAAD, I'm not High Education Loans Board, I'm not any scholarship body. Alechi no. Aweka alechi, do you really understand what is going on here? Ana meelewani. Because ngimeche kasit ngane komenyone nyilechi no ina comment kono kasit. Ing'ete isakisir kita nekararan neilechino ane Kiptangu Saramuse angen asember chaik, angen abut chaik, angen abai ngokaik, angen anya ngokaik. Ako kiasomanchi anan atinye experience. Malasima ngane asir chito nesomanat, amuchi akot asir chito netinye experience. Because what is important is ndalechinin kanap ki kotos ikanap age eng oret nemakat kekanap anan iabuchi age itieme ikanap, tugun cheu cho. So it's not about education, it's about passion, it's about experience, it's about whether you know what you want to do. So ko isingilechino ara itinye kasi kokaimwoi ilecho ane kouni teju balalok you etc. Sometimes I think we come out in social media as very informal people. To an extent, a very wrong message, which is not exactly what I'm looking for. Gutimeja asirin kasi, Inai ile kabekyi yotok yo kelejino sira kasi tilyandinyu ak tangoitanyu ak chiretab kele kakinye. From that point I treaten in as a prospective employee. So any way that I look at you potentially as somebody who is going to work and deliver, or somebody who is going to be a joke and become a problem to me. We really have to understand each other. As an investor, kumatinye time ye kaimwowo ile cho imeche kasit kotakechir kelek tuwai. Piku kelek saa hiyo. Okay, nebo aeng in Tilingi amu kakemwa ile mi biik chemamake ngalekab siasa. The truth is, I think I like what the government was proposing, and I am nervous about several things. One of them, nekiacham kabisa ko nobo ngalekab nobo health insurance. I think we have a very big problem in this country, in Kenya. And I give you an example. Ing Sanguli, keibenen chepkondok chengile iker saa zingine ikwange ile kowawendi samyana uyo sikoyach kimutai ICU sikema chepkondok chetecho, you know, it's a lot of money, really a lot of money, to the extent that some of us are paying close to 200k per month on health insurance, equivalent of Kenya shillings. So ngitebe kasi ile kakoba niki 200k konene kanyoru. One of the benefits chekinyoru indamite health insurance ne functioning in Kenya. Agongen the main problem ile ngetil chepkondok chechang. The problem ko kerib chepkondok chotok kakitil chachang. Amu mite biik nyun cheisengengse kolugui kityo kosengengse kolugui amariei. Kimwachin bogen kole marie mo. So kikachame ngalyo nekikale William ongetes chepkondok chebo health insurance chekitile biik. Amu kakoimech kit agenge nemoko chitimina ko chitugul ngacheket ko we are a victim. I have been invited to 3 WhatsApp groups today. Chebo biik chekoruyo. Ako chitugul eng bichotok ko kometo bilit eng sipitali. Kometo bilit age nebo 300, kometo age nebo 1 million, kometo age nekikele kikeib akot kibandokab lagok kotib koyach kwa plan kibandok alak chempya lagok kwak. My hope was that ndakitese chepkondokab health insurance kotoretech kobit chepkondok cheimuchi kolipan chito nekowo sipitali kotko mamutai kewekse nyekelen kimeche arambe amu kokobit kit nekure fatigue. Kikongetyo biik arambe chenyekelejin oyochi arambe chito nemi sipitali anan oyoe arambe pkityake borto eng sipitali anan oyoe arambe pkityake title deed anan ko kibandok. Ndakibendi ra Eldoret sipitalishiechu akiro ikwonge kibandok cherototin. Kotko biik alak kotinye kibandok number 6, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8 amu kipkoyach koboisie fake names asikoistoegei kibandenin kikeker eng sipitali. Kipkeker eng sipitali 1, keker eng sipitali 2, keker eng sipitali 4, keker eng sipitali 5 kibandok. Ako kibandok chotok tugul yoik useless amu kipkoripoten chichi nga police kole kikobetyo kotkoyach koreplacen konyor kibandok alak chempya. So kiabwoti ale ndawendi kotko faulen ngaleche William Julen ongetes chepkondokab health insurance. Kongerenyu ane ko maasara kele kaistogei chepkondok eng eung'ung. In fact, kaistogei man chepkondok eng eung'ung mainyoru kobwa benking'ung kobate kapkekonorun ing yun yendewendi mutai kotimyan komabichenge chukakekonor tutukin chu kesoisoi ilen mameche kerebena chemite benki binyoegei. Shida as kityo ko ng'olyondoni meche keng'ololchi kele kilyochin chepkondok chu kakitil simapkwa marakai chu yun. Uchamu aboisie ng'oliondonoto amu chito nepkwame tuguchu melen kele ka chito nekararan meiwak.
That is our fear. Not a fear neketinye achek.
Yeah. Netai noto. Nebo aeng siatoroti Tilingi ko chang lembechek serikali ng'wong mameche ang'alin. Kiakase besiok kyong'ololi olen G2G ko kararan savenwech 500 million every month. In fact, sijui wiki ninyone kobuti exchange rate nebo the dollar kolyon. Achek chemi bitani kelen oye tauchilchi yoton kotakwo euro akot koit 200 oloi. Singomite olabo kabunguni cho kole kongo kotatam kotikikoitoi chekomeche komi barak kidogo kabungukanak. Lakini shida konga enjoyeni exchangeni a few euros to the shilling ko chichin mite kakonyalili kwami ka for 28 days. You saw it. Yani ngiwe supermarket akial makatiatab 260 shillings ikwange ile kitakomi chi age nole makatiatab 260 shillings ing resolveni. That's why at some point kingaal makatiat ko nginyolen abutulo kikoyam. Yani lazima kiwe stale mako fresh eng orit olot. So changak lembechek mameche kiberbergei. Ako kita ne korom ko to berberi biik alak ko mato berberi ke okweket. nguno shida nengwong ko changak lembeche ngokweket kora oberberike obusike eng orit nengwong ini ngolingwong amameche keker kora olimbo county olimbo in national mising meche ora oweke amu kikekonok 47 governments chemite yutoyu kiplembechwet netya governor nengung kiplembechwet netya senator nengung kiplembechwet netya women rep nengung kiplembechwet netya MCA nengung kiplembechwet netya MP nengung ako ngimeche iker tukuchoto ikere lagok nguno ola tugul eng Facebook ngiyat ile anan ko Twitter anan ko ano igere kelen rorni lakwet nekotemene kwo sukul ongechangan biik chechongoni chepkondok ko mukutubu lakini kokwo sondit chito nekilen atkinye okono kasini nyotore makai tun takelen obwa keyochi harambee lakwa sijui kange lakwa mawo sukul but ngachamwok 2027 kowekse ak lembeita age netilil ak inyoru bokyini ibokorie ibobirchi kura kora kiplembechwet ab lembechwet kinyetak kongoi mising sitosak.
Kongoi mising daktari, but before you go, amu mi biik chechang eng yu che labda kimakomi space nekinya nenya kibat Kenya ketajan akobo WIDU. In brief kityo, in brief asamin enge samen yu ale teelesanwech briefly kityo akobo ne WIDU, the process ne eligibility nebo inyoru WIDU atche tos yani process notok kityo kidogo so koelewan amu agere ale chang biik eng yu che labda kimakomi space nebo betut notok atya mu agere kakotebena biik alake kolecho WIDU ini ko ngakas kamwa WIDU ini ko ne so eng somen yu kityo.
Okay. Kongoi mising Tilingi kanget kalen a post ning inde comment lakini manyone in there is a post ne jama kya in kigurene kya opinion si atagani how WIDU work. So WIDU WIDU.africa. Isire kituguna ta www.widu.africa WIDU.africa. It's a grant system funded the German government. It's money from the German government through GIZ. GIZ go, in short, in German, go working together internationally or international collaboration. So how does WIDU work? That's what I was trying to share you in Tilingi but big keutinya access to my Facebook page kwa konde wendi nguno binyoru a post ne mioti igere kasir ole how WIDU works inyoru a link nyoto ne imutin. So how does WIDU work? WIDU ko-funda ni Germany. It is a collaboration between chito ne mi sangutab Kenya and other 5 countries in Africa. Kenya is a really blessed country amu agenge eng emotinwek chemitei Africa che participate in WIDU. If you want me to put it in English, Tilingi, it would also be okay, maybe for the sake of people to follow. Yeah, so what is WIDU? WIDU is a German grant system which is funded by the German International Development Agency, GIZ. It used to be called GTZ, it's now GIZ. The participating countries in Africa are a number. Prominently, Kenya is one of them. Yeah, it started in 2019. It's likely going to end in 2026. So we still have about 2 years to go, and really rushing to do it. What is required is you as a Kenyan or anybody listening to me from an African country that is taking part, go to the website www.widu.africa. Right? WIDU.africa. It's not WIDU.com, it's not WIDU.de, it's not WIDU.org, it's WIDU.africa. WIDU.africa. Now, the countries which are participating in Europe start with Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Austria, Switzerland. That's to the south. And then in the north, you have Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Finland is not part of it. Luxembourg is not part of it, right? So these are only 9 countries which participate. The Germanic-speaking countries, that's Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Belgium, and Netherlands. And then there is France, and in the north you have Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. If you know anybody in those countries, That is step number one. You need to talk to somebody who is in those countries to register themselves on WIDU. You cannot register as a Kenyan. If you are in Kenya, you cannot register on WIDU.com or WIDU.africa, sorry. You cannot. The reason is because when you go to select the countries that participate, Kenya is not one of them as a registrant. If you want to register, Kenya is not on the countries that are registering, that allow you to register and present evidence of identification. So that person has to be in one of those 9 countries that I have mentioned in Europe. And what they do basically is they register themselves, they present their identification documents, potentially a visa or something like that, which shows that they actually are resident in these countries. And then it is the person in the diaspora, me in Germany or anybody else in Germany or in those countries that I named, who is going to invite you in Kenya. You cannot join WIDU unless you get an invitation from somebody in those 9 countries which are participating. That means you need to make friends with somebody. Very good. Clap for yourself. You're doing very well. Make friends. I always say, make friends you cannot afford to lose. Make enemies you can afford to live without. Necessary. So the person who is in Germany or Netherlands or France or Switzerland or Austria or Norway or Sweden or Denmark will send you an invitation by email. And that invitation will come to you as a link. It's only by receiving that link that you can then register as a Kenyan on WIDU. You cannot register fresh. Like you go to that website, you cannot register. So what does WIDU do? I give you an example. Let's say Tilingi wants to start a poultry business. Let's use an example like that, right? So Tilingi, you want to start a poultry business. You've estimated that for you to start this business, you need to be very clear on the numbers. That's the simplest thing that WIDU wants. It doesn't want a very complex business proposal. You just say, okay, I want to start a business where I keep poultry. And for me to keep poultry, I need to buy, feeds, I need to build a poultry house, I need to buy vaccines, I need to, hire somebody to do the construction, hire somebody to take care of the poultry, etc., etc. That will cost me 200,000. So if the budget is 200,000, all you need to do as a person in Kenya or any participating African country is to raise 25%. I don't know whether we understand each other. So your target budget is 200,000. You only raise 25%. That is 50,000 shillings, right? Yes. And then you talk to me in Germany or talk to this guy in France or this guy in Norway or Denmark or wherever. You say, hey, I would like to participate with you in this thing. I'm super excited about poultry. I have experience working with poultry. I want to invest some 200,000. I only have 50,000, but we know WIDU will give us some money. Can you give me 50,000? And this guy can give you 50,000 either as a loan or as a grant, that means free money, or whatever other arrangement you make. Maybe the guy says, okay, I give you 50,000, but we will own the business 50-50, or something like that, So your 50 plus my 50 becomes 100,000. Because you have the invitation to WIDU, you set up the project in WIDU by following a very simple, process, which is, what is it you want to do? How much does what you want to buy costs? I want to buy mabati. I want to buy cement. I want to buy posts. I want to hire somebody work for me for 3 months. I want to pay a mason to construct, etc., etc. It's going to cost ABCD. Total budget 200,000. But we have only 100,000. My 50,000, which is what I give you as a diasporan, and your 50,000, which is what you have. So both of us, once the project is set up, we go to WIDU and say, we have raised 100,000, and WIDU gives you 50% of that money, another 100,000. So for every investment that you make, all you need to raise as a Kenyan is 25%. And then you ask your diaspora guy to give you 25%. Both of you raise 50. WIDU gives you 50, and it is free. WIDU money is not like Hustler Fund where you have to repay with 8% interest. It is zero interest. It is zero repayment. All you need to do, and this is very important, you cannot take WIDU money and go and marry a second wife. You cannot take WIDU money and go and pay school fees. You cannot take WIDU money and go and pay for a funeral or a wedding. You have to use WIDU money the way you've said it in your business plan, because they approve it as a business which is supposed to be sustainable, generational, and it has to create jobs, right? So that's the only condition that you have for WIDU money. You get 50% of your investment money up to a maximum of 2,500 euros, right? So the business I have in Septono, Tilingi, for example, we are investing, my manager and I are investing 2,500, that's 1,250 for me, 1,250 euros for him, 2,500 euros, which by today's exchange is 435,000 shillings. Mm-hmm. And WIDU is giving us 435,000 shillings. Okay? Yes. And it's the same. It's the same. You start with a minimum is 125 euros from me, 125 euros from you, 250. That's about 42,000 shillings today. And WIDU gives you 250. So you start with around 80,000. That's the minimum that you are allowed. The maximum is 2,500. 2,500, that's 860,000 Kenya shillings. That's the maximum. So from 84,000 to 840,000, that's the window you have for WIDU. That's what we call the WIDU original grant, where you need a diaspora. And there is another, which is the WIDU calls, the local calls that you have. And there is a very good example is some group of girls in Eldoret. They started a gluten-free business. It's I forgot the name. Is it called Jevo or something like that? A gluten-free business in Eldoret. They got a grant of WIDU, which WIDU gives up to around 5,000 euros free. Again, it's not refundable money. You need to invest it the way you've said you're going to invest it. They are going to start one this year on what they call WIDU. I think it's going to be a women call. They are going to call women to come with innovative ideas on business. So what can WIDU support? It can support, there is a lady in Nyanza who started with 4 pigs. She has over 400 today. There is a guy in Nairobi who had a marketing job somewhere. He left it and started a kinyozi. He's running a kinyozi today, executive kinyozi. There is my brother-in-law is doing chicken. He's hatching and also selling eggs, you know. I support 2 people. I support, 3 actually, but 2 that I support at the moment. One in Bomet around Jevole. She does poultry. She has a black soldier fly and Azola. I visited it. You probably have seen the pictures as well.
I saw you. It was raining on that day.
Yeah, it was raining. Yeah, we went to Jebole all the way to see the project. Super exciting project. The lady is really engaged. We went for the first one. We did it really small, 35, 70, and then WIDU gave 100 and something. Because WIDU also gives you, the good thing is, WIDU will match what you invest. So like in our case, Tilingi, when I give you 50, you have your 50, it becomes 100. WIDU gives us 100. WIDU will also give you 42,000 euros as 42,000 shillings as a bonus. You know, ujivinjari. You don't need any receipt for that at the end of your project. Yeah. So I have never seen anything as innovative as this. I have never seen money that is as free as this. But as usual, you get people asking me like, oh, Blembechwe Jason, oh, ngu abatoto kwa toto tugujo, oh, nyorungo, niginye, alena ne hallelujah, otestai. Any other question?
Up to a maximum of how much? The first one going in 2,500 euros, which is up to a estimate of 400,000. During the last time we were giving going up to 3 times. Emoji is active.
Yes. So you and I, Tilingi, for example, if we said we are going for 200K now, we can do that because you want to grow. And then at the end of your project, we will say, hey, you've completed your project successfully. Do you have an idea to expand your project or you want to start a new project? Then you apply again. Always the maximum, the operating maximum is 2,500 euros, which is 400 and something thousand shillings, right? But remember, you have to raise half of that money for you to get. You have to raise the half of the target money, or you have to raise a certain amount of money for WIDU to double it. WIDU will double. Let's just use that language, because if we say half, then you get lost. So that's one, and you can go 3 times. So like the Titus guy in Gabiemit, he went for the maximum, right? 800K. If he goes another time, it will be another 800K, 1.6. If he goes another time, it will be 2.4. So everybody in diaspora is allowed to support the same person 3 times. That means I can support you 3 times, and at the same time, I can support 3 people. So I have 1, 2, 3, and each of the 1, 2, 3, I can support 3 times. That means I can actually sponsor a project 9 times. I mean, a group of 9 projects. Kalum mana malum.
Kalum kabisa komnye kakelugui ngule. I think kaimwa kuno now kai project ni. What ne proven ne iboru kole tesetai project ni. Tos mi kina magati yai sikoker WIDU kole tesetai project ni. Anani ngi apply nguna, for example ngi kaita business plan. Magat korok ko proven bichu sikobit kokone, for example siko proven rabinik jebunu chebo your sponsor.
Yeah, so what you do is a very good question. Let me take it in 2 ways. So the first time you create your project, you fill in everything, including how you want to use the money, the details about yourself. So there is a place where you fill in your profile. You say, I am so and so, I live in this place, and we do expect you to do a geolocation. You have to actually take a pin on your location. And that's very important, so that if somebody is in Germany, they don't lie that they are investing in Kenya, but they are actually, in Germany, because they are targeting 2,500 euros. So what then you do is, once you fill in everything, including your investment plan, you don't do a business plan, by the way. You do an investment plan, which is a very different thing. You basically say, I want to buy item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each item is costing so much. Total cost is so much, right? And then what then happens is you say, okay, we've filled in everything. You and your diaspora guy, you say, we have everything. I think we are super, ready for it. You click submit. You do it all in the system. You don't write anything offline, right? You do it all in the system, and it restricts the amount of verbiage that you can write. So you click submit, it goes. WIDU will review it, look at the numbers. There are things they will check. They will check things like, if you are doing construction, your amount of construction material doesn't cost more than 25% of your budget. If you're doing labor, you don't use people for more than 3 months, because they expect you to break even in 3 months. So they take some metrics that they do internally. And then if the project is meeting the criteria that they have, they approve it. And usually the approval is, I have seen the longest it has taken is 1 week. It's a matter of days. Like we submitted one today for this, the one I told you about, the beekeeping. We expect the result by around Wednesday, Thursday latest. Because we had a conversation with the coach and, looked through the numbers, agreed on, the budgeting and distribution, etc., etc. I just used a bit of my connection with somebody that I know to check, whether they make sense. And so it will take Wednesday, probably Friday next week, he should get a reply. Now, the moment the project is approved, you are told, don't start investing. Why? Because the coach, and this is where the beautiful thing about WIDU is, WIDU has a number of coaches, people who are trained business managers, that they pay. You don't pay anything, they pay them. And those guys will come to confirm, does your business really exist according to what you've said? Because you need to take pictures when you're applying. You take pictures of, if you have built something that you're going to put your poultry or your bees or your whatever it is, you are encouraged to take up to 3 pictures and post them. If you don't have anything, please take note. If you don't have anything, WIDU encourages you to take photos of the surrounding where you are going to establish it, right? So that it is something that is real. So the coach will come, confirm that this project actually is going to take place in the geolocation that was given, and then go through the budget with you. And the coach will also do the business plan. Remember, you did an investment plan. You do item 1 costs so much, item 2 costs so much. Now the coach will come with something called a canvas, a business canvas, which is, a lot of you who know this already, you know what a business canvas is. What is unique about your business? How do you plan to go to the market? What is your, value proposition, etc., 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 etc. So the coach will come and fill that. It's a very nice canvas which we use. Those of you who want, you can just Google it, business canvas. And the coach will also bring you some files which you will use to track the costs. So, for example, we had somebody to deliver bricks today. He doesn't have receipts. This is a guy who operates in the village. So what the coach will do is they bring some templates for you that they say, if this guy comes with bricks because he doesn't have a receipt, this is how you capture his data. So that the moment you capture that data, you need to upload the file. You need to upload a receipt when you buy something. You need to upload an agreement when somebody delivers something and he doesn't have a receipt. You need to upload it to the WIDU platform to provide evidence that something actually was bought, right? The second thing, because I said I was going to talk about 3 things, is if you, Tilingi, and I, we agree we are going to raise 100,000 shillings, and you've told me to support you with 50,000, WIDU wants to see that I have actually sent you 50,000 shillings from Europe. So the moment I send you money using the international remittance system, I need to upload the evidence to WIDU to provide, here is the money I sent to Tilingi. It was so much on this day. And that thing needs to be uploaded. At the same time, the other guy, Tilingi on the other side, needs to take a screenshot of M-Pesa to say, I actually received money today from Zerone, and it was so much in Kenya shillings. And then you upload yours to your side of the WIDU platform. I upload mine to my side of the WIDU platform. So that is evidence that money was really transferred, right? And then, once the coach comes, he writes a report, tells WIDU, I have seen it, I agree with these guys, or we revise the budget, or we change some items, etc., etc. And then WIDU says, start investing. So where do you start investing? We start investing with the 100,000 you and I have raised. You don't invest the 200 first, you invest the 100 that you and I have raised. And every time you buy something, you buy posts, you buy cement, you buy termite, whatever it is, you buy whatever, you pay somebody something, you upload receipts. The moment you have reached the end of the items you specified that are yours, you click save. The platform tells you, okay, you've used up your joint investment, because it is also tracking. There is a cigarette there, which is the moment you say I have used 10,000 today, it shows 10,000 is gone, 90% is remaining. I have used up 40,000. 50% is gone, 50% is remaining. When you've used up 100, it says you've used up your money because your budget was 100,000. Now click next to apply for the grant. That means the 50% from WIDU, you don't get it until you invest your 50%. Right? At that point, when you click submit, WIDU will tell the coach, go back. These guys claim they have invested their 100,000. Go and confirm that they have actually invested the 100,000 and provide photographic evidence. So the coach comes the second time to your place to take photos, pictures, confirm, write a report, submit the report. And then when WIDU receives that report, they will say, okay, we've seen that you actually invested your 100,000 according to our agreement in that investment plan. Now, here is the money. And you probably saw, Tilingi, the other day I was taking a screenshot of somebody who was sent 210,323. Because the joint investment we did had been used up, and we sent a submission to WIDU to say, we've used up our joint investment, please release the grant. And then they sent the coach came, looked at it, said, yeah, these guys have done a good job. They used the money the way they claimed and released the money. So WIDU releases that money. You use it again the same way you use the other one. Everything you buy, which you had said you're going to buy with the WIDU money, You buy, you upload the receipt. At the end of that, you say, I have used up everything. They tell you to write a short report about the investment. Just 3 bullet points. I did not have an incubator. Now I have an incubator. I did not have 20 pigs. Now I have 100 pigs. I did not have chicken. Now I have chicken, etc., etc. 3 points. It doesn't need to be very complicated thing. And then you submit. We do send somebody, the same guy, or a coach. If the same guy is not available, they can send another coach. The third time, the coach comes, looks at this thing, says, okay, you invested your money. I had seen that. You've invested WIDU money. I have seen that. He writes a report to WIDU, provides photographic evidence, and then WIDU says, okay, we can now officially close the project. The project is closed. You are told, Serone, you are free now to invite somebody else, or if you have an idea, you can expand on that project which you have done with XYZ. Did you get it? So the coach comes 3 times, because that is how WIDU controls how their money is used. It is public money, it is tax money which we pay in Germany, only that the government is saying you can take back some of this and invest in your people in Kenya. I hope that answered your question, Tilingi.
Yes, well answered.
Mm-hmm.
Congo, maybe one final question before I give it maybe to 1 or 2 people to ask some questions. The final question, Ngoga go release and thereafter now, after the completion of the first project, what are the conditions no see applying for another one? Because no up to 3 times.
Nothing. The moment gibaishe chepkondo go mie aoganyo go ger the coach chukata inyo go confirm ngolo mi project. Then he came the second time, confirmed you have used up your money. Came the third time, confirmed you've used up the WIDU money.
Yes.
That's all. If the coach says these guys have used the money the way they wanted to, the way they planned to use it, and I have seen evidence that this project was actually executed exactly the way it was planned, then WIDU just sends you a message. And I mean, I can send you a very small screenshot of a previous project which I did. They just say, hey, you've successfully completed. Do you have an idea? Can you now, submit another idea for funding? Or you want to perhaps expand on your project? So it's not just about starting another one. It's also, can you apply for an extension? And then if you have gone 3 times with Tilingi or whoever it is, then they tell Tilingi, Saisere, you've done your part. Happy investing. Keep your business sustainable. That's it.
And then one final question, Matelo. Amaje go guya bigole. Si lazima ikue malazima a continuous business. It can also be a starting a business.
Yeah, you can start from zero. Tilingi, I just told you, if you go to the one I have at Septo, no, because I have a tea farm, it is doing very well, but the poultry business is starting from zero. Zero. We just bought that piece of land in August last year. I think we bought it in August, September, and it had nothing. We had to let the guy destroy all his buildings because we wanted to start this thing. So it doesn't need to be something that is ongoing. It is good if it is there, and you are given the option in WIDU. When you go to select, you are starting the project, WIDU asks you, is it an existing project or is it a new project, right? And then you say it is a new project, you start it from scratch. The only thing, like I told you, is if it is a new project, you always need to think about the limit. You cannot use more than 25% of your budget on construction, something which I will definitely be in trouble with, because my budget on construction on the site is becoming much more than what we had planned. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe for clarification, just the way Matalonga said, it's not limited to anything. It is farming. You can even be having maybe you're doing some labda we ni fundi wa nguo, you need a sewing machine, something like that. Anything, even the guys in tech. It also applies to guys in tech. Anything that is possible. Because I saw the other day when we were having this, they were having their annual, what do we call, something in Nairobi.
Yeah, the award.
Yes, the annual awards. There were guys from different fields. All the different fields within Kenya, and they were being awarded for This is a program that has been happening. A lot of people have been doing it, but I think it's with the help of Jason, and maybe there's a guy called Simon. Is Simon one of the guys who comes to your place to inspect?
No, Simon doesn't come because he's in Germany, but Simon is a very powerful ambassador for WIDU, and he probably is on this forum as well. So Simon Arab Kuru is an ambassador of WIDU and actually a resource person. So he's one of those people who answers questions on WIDU, especially on the diaspora side here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mashallah. Maybe I can take
Yeah.
this with maybe Kagere Kamibara Gebuta Dennis. Dennis, maybe you have one question and Peter, and then maybe now we can continue.
Kongoi Matalon. Kamaja tap kityo ale that process. We are my clear me. I mean, how does someone who is in the village register? I mean, if you could still just do some polishing on how to register. Kamia got wertaga nega gereng nega go mas nya go kitebe na en college na. How do you register? Ko if you can emphasize ko kararan. Thank you.
Dennis, were you here from the start? Kemi atawang alalian and gaitu.
Maybe in Qatar. Maybe in Qatar.
I don't like repeating myself. Especially in Bikyomi diaspora, onge taret ke please. Listening is an art. Tilingi, what did you understand? Kamwa alegia ene.
One thing I say,
mara boishe luga na uitemwe jinyenye yuet kidogo.
Kinega majamwa ene Arab to kinega majaison gole magoi register kote imi Kenya. You need to have a friend within those countries, Germany and maybe Netherlands and Switzerland. Kobit ko toy go register nendet korok sugo yago na link. So magoi register nge imi Kenya. But Kenya is eligible, is one of the countries eligible. Jengo yago register nge jitane mioline ko mujugo yago na link. I hope kayela wani atarafta. Those magamwa kumye Jason.
Sometimes it shocks me. I'm really sorry.
Naelewa. I understand you, Matelong. Kaka yegichongon igere registration is something that sometimes in a challenge me too, because go atinye an idea. If I have all that is required, aga measure chito ne toreto. Uga measure kichana in terms ka na malega ka mai taru lai ne ka measure pollution just to polish. How exactly does the other person on in the qualified country? How does he help me in the village to register? Me no talk magena ani and that.
Arab toy muji wal jiga otanya tu gala please. I mean, imi village, ngele memi village nye mi te bitan nguno. Imi te gaolin ijenge jitane mi bitani na nene itebe because I don't understand. Imiga ijenge jitane mi bitanin ne invitanin anane. What is the question?
Nge put in another way in Daktari. The question of what you are then is going go inge achumen gilaga inyoru jitane mite ipitan in imi village. Ago mara metinye internet. Mara gometinye simena nini yaje iwe cyber anan yaje kotoretin chi anan yaje koliatos biik chematinye amuta kingen kele ole usine angot ndakikotar chito form 4 kuyo kemwoe ile leon ko ngap komi chito ne memuch kotinye uwezo inoto lakini tinye idea ako kalen amwa teshale ngap ikere bicho ikere kongete ilen kabwa kongete nini ko biik cho yunotinye ngemwa man yekai kele kamko imuch itau amengete nini ko kakemwa komye ile ngimi social media ko kiekwa just a normal person. I mean, I don't know. Kiyeku kawaida kuye mwae biik. Ngokerin chito age jam kabaker akot kuyo kamach kochupin age kole kalya amu kikokerin chito kuyo normal kutukchu kinetigei tuguk chechang across the board. Kabineti nandi tukun alak kole kokere chito kole ngu normal chichi. Makere kole professor chichi nekikoit olelo nemuch kotoret. So ngap ko saa zingine keunoto biikab reserve. Abwoti ale kamache konai Dennis kole kitoretitoi ano bichuto nguno chu tinyegei ko maket kwai kole takiyai ki nekararan, lakini approach nenywanet ko wrong anan ko maelewani komie kole approachindoi ano chito neu Jason sikotoreto kocheng'wa chito eng bitonin anan koek inendet nekaek connection nenyunet asai project ini. Abwoti ale katatebe Dennis ki neu noto.
Lakini ngemwa arapto nemobo chi timin kabisa. Ingen le ndakisubi ko nekit kong'amen biik kyok chemaba sukul kosir biik chekobo sukul. Amu ndenyoru chito rani, I was home the other day, inyoru chito neking'ete chepkunyu konyone nyokonyoruo. Chichoto manyone komi sang yun kuchubo anan kolecho kaing'et anan tomo ing'et. Ingen biik kyok kole kibendi kesomdo toretet. Inyoru chito nemite olimbo resolve kongen ko approachen kolejin ing'we arabanum. Atinye ki neimo kotep kole akameche toretet. Kiatieme maityo, tomaityo. Ameche toretet. I think the problem we have is kiassume biik chekikosomonso kelen kataingen icheket ko communicaten. So let's go back to your original question. Iitoi ne chito nemite resolve? Ngot komite chito nemi resolve ako tinye idea koyai business ni, amengen ng'alekab internet. It's up to you as a young person nei chorwetab chichoto anan nekitchine tuwai itoret. Kita nemeche WIDU kityo kwa agenge nege. Meche WIDU kole chichin mite resolve nekemwoe konyoru link through email. Maetenen WIDU iyat arapto email inyendet ak iaccessan imite UK anan ko US anan ko Austria anan ko France ak isomandat email taityo itoret chichin inyitchi details ngokomi tuwai simet ak itebe. The only thing now ikwai WIDU nde logeni in WIDU platform kotebenen ikochi access to your location. Ndelen nguno okay. Ngangeti ngatekan over in profile nebo jijin ningo invite ni akasetan jiap. Kumite area kung WIDU kolena kolejin kono en chamchinet our location. You can also say no. Ngileji WIDU I don't allow you in location access and don't ask me anymore. Me itikeni ilen don't ask again. Agileji no. Kumago sa WIDU kotebenen kolejin kono location access. And you can log into that person's email. Agi login in gora to that person's profile agi toreti editen ji. Ako mito limbaga. And I give you a very good example. Kitinyo werta negure Jojing yun nemi Germany. The mother is 76-year-old. Ago she is a vegetable farmer in Nakuru. George supported her through WIDU. I am not sure his mother was able to log into WIDU platform. I'm not sure. There was an example just in December, at the beginning of December, gigitinyo a WIDU platform in online. And what happened was there is a group of girls, I think they are in Germany. The father is their partner on the ground in Busia. They have invested in a school. They opened a school. That's what WIDU can also help you to do. They opened a school. But because the father is very old, they asked WIDU for permission for them to access the WIDU platform from Germany and help the old man on the ground to edit the details. You know, like upload the photo, upload the receipts, etc. Ngimeche imwochi WIDU imwochi. Lakini ndabotune nane ame translate nji ko ikosenge ngito nekayai kunoto. Amu atinye biik chenekit somok kyoyochini ako kiacheng kityo nyaba WIDU yale yakoryo kole kono anai ole imite. Ale kemaken emenjenyu. No. Mameche inai. Ak atinye details yo bichun alogeni ak akerchi akorektenchi atarchi kiachopchi lemenyin yup koborok. Ipke ba plan anendet. Mengen akot kole ne nekitestai. Konyoru iman tugukchi ngolin amu tinye simet mulika mwisi nematinye nini. But we have to make sure kele part of the project ko kikiaplan keolchi simet smartphone. Asikomuch konyor simet sikoboisie mutai amu ngenyor receipts ngolin komeche kebir picha makoi tamuch ayai choto miu. Okay? So agenge chito neimite gaa nememuchi ametinye internet, iboishe chito nenekitenen, ngokewendi cyber, it is also okay. WIDU doesn't say don't access WIDU platform in a cyber. No. It doesn't say don't access WIDU platform using a neighbor's phone. No. Boishe akilingung. Nebo aeng, ko ngot ko kakotabak mising, inget chito neimite bitoni ak itoret chichindo ilogenin inyendet, iediten, iyai tuguk tugul chemakat keyai, tatyo itoret chichotok ispiden chi amu ngap ngot ndatinye chichin internet ko very slow internet nemite kakosir nemi bitoni. Nebo aeng noto. Nebo somok, which is something that happens a lot. I get questions like, oh, I have seen, US is not included. Why is the US not included? I mean, honestly, I cannot answer. I don't work for WIDU. I only offer information the way I interpret how WIDU works in order to make it easy for people to understand. What I think people need to say is, I'm in US. It is easier for somebody in the US who is a diasporan like myself to make friends with me than for their mother or grandmother or uncle somewhere in Labuyo or in Obsetan or Chebole to make friends with me. Use your being a diasporan abroad, Australia, UK, Luxembourg, US, Canada, to make friends with somebody in Europe, in those participating countries. And then you can agree with that person and say, like somebody in Australia contacted me and said, unfortunately, Australia is not participating. Do you have any advice? I said, make friends with somebody in Europe and tell that person in Europe, I'm going to give you the money that you want your people to invest. So that if you are in Australia, muitinye kwen in Australia, iyonki chito kwen ko Europe, ko boishe jiji kwen jata ko jiji ngungulin, so that don't expect this guy in Europe to give money to a stranger. And I think that's the point I want to make, the third one. This WIDU thing is about somebody you know. You cannot walk up to a stranger and tell them, hey, can you give me money? I want to start a business. And this person doesn't know whether you are a business person, ananiboki holela, ananiblala yate, So if there is somebody who is abroad in any other country other than the 9 which are participating, let's say Czech Republic or Poland or Romania or wherever it is, or Russia, talk to somebody in the participating countries and tell them, I have a relative, I need somebody to help me bring that relative to WIDU, and I am going to give you the money. If I had somebody who says to me, I'm going to give you the money, all I need is for you to facilitate for my relative to get into WIDU, why would I refuse? I think ongegu agile, ongesir class seat ak form 4 ak university ak degree. Let's also be human. A bit of emotional intelligence ke start in the room gele. Kale une nyeng kijam lagi ngiven di laget ngama wendi laget. Ngialagi kijam ke saje TV na otiene wendi saje jita wendi si ngalal jile jangiwe. Kiurenen ngo. Makoile jis nga jamin ke begiru yerani lazima ibunu li ngoro gi britim damurena to go sai sage.
Arab Tilingi katoka nyogut. Matelong. Kongoi kayorora komie kakonywas komie. Ngukamite chito nekamo kongen eng nyumba village kole tos aita no boisioni. You have talked of the nitty-gritty. Tukuk chemengech kama kibwatini nerube ko nagele imuch ko dijengji chi chorwa eng qualifying countries. Agiyokchi chepkondok akoek inendet yeku a sponsor indirectly. That is a very good addition from what you had explained before. Maginget matelong, menget testai inetech agegitu kila kongoi.
Ara magai ka sarap ta nguna ile amui mi diaspora gi maji support ndi ta ako ma UK imi nye UK ako UK kuma part of the supporting part of the countries supporting WIDU. So mujo ngalal sakje so ko jeng ngon jorwa ne mirla amu abwati alagi ko exhausted because I had that as a sponsor go muchi is supporting because up to maximum of how many people just
so mogityo
so ngo zir so go mugo jeng ngon jorwa ne mujo yes
so mogatago
so mogatago.
Yeah, I can support 3 people at the same time.
Yes. Oh,
atinye lakwet ka pa Chebole ako atinye silang Tururo Nandils agwirtan in my manager ang Septonok. So the 3 of them, my 3 chances are used up. Lakini pegu je sila ako beku chebo lakwenin very soon, maybe in the next 2 weeks ko ako istake Sila, amuchi anyor space, but Sila komeche kowek kokeny. Keelewan?
Oh, ngang ko kaitar kora kotomo komuchi inyile.
Amuchi anyil kora. Amuchi anyil Sila 3 times. Amuchi anyil Tilingi 3 times. But I can only support Chumba, Tilingi, ak Arap Too at the same time.
Oh, uno takanyo. Ara makai kasarot. Kaelewan kakuye. Uyo tinye pketere tebut.
Okay.
Kama ko tebut missing ka observation kityo. Maelewan sina ale kichengto ano in bichu kelen in kakele chepkoche kanisa chepkwai examination, lakini kamache amwa kityo ai observation ale it seems ole kimuch kekertegei eng Africa takitinye trust issues. Ngisup ole kakong'alalda Jason kole ikere ile akot bichun mi Germany kotokotinye kora trust issues nekimuchi kele makitinye keaplan acheket ing oli. Nekabwoti ale amu ikere ile yache kecheng chito nemi bitonin neu yo kikiyan kele kikoek chumbin nakimwae biikab kutit yo kele chumbin chicho.
It's not true. It's not true, by the way. I think we need to correct that impression immediately. One, the coach is not your business to look for. So what WIDU has done is they have contracted people. They have contracted, for example, Eldohub in Geldret. Eldohub is a service provider for WIDU. So, or for GIZ. So GIZ has contracted business coaches. And GIZ has several of them. They have business coaches, they have technical coaches, people who can teach you how to make something. And once in a while they are being used. They are summoned and just given a contract to go and do it. So you don't determine who to come to your farm or to your business as a coach. That's the business of WIDU. And mostly they arrange them through regional blocks. So, for example, my first project in Kisii, in Jebole, the coach comes from Kisii. And he is currently in the US because he was voted last year as the top coach by WIDU. And then he was given a scholarship to go to the US. So actually he coached us for the second phase of that project only at the application level. But when the project investment between me and Hyvin, the lady is called Hyvin, when our investment ended, we had another coach because Mnyamwea is in the US at the moment on a study. My two guys in Nandi, for example, and actually the one, my brother-in-law, who is also supported by my wife, and Sila, who is from Kipsebo, and my manager, we have the same coach, somebody called Yasin, a very nice guy from Eldoret. And Yasin is covering Nandi, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Bungoma, I think, and Kakamega. He has 3 counties in Western Kenya that he is covering. So he is super busy, always on the road. And he has just come back from Ethiopia because he was actually nominated to go and train coaches in Ethiopia the other day. So the coach is not your choice. That is WIDU, and it is arranged more by regional than anything else. Probably sometimes by thematic businesses. If somebody is more familiar with one area of the business or the other, he gets that chance to come to your thing. The second thing, and I want to make it very clear, Germany did not say the investor needs to get somebody in Germany to start the invitation because of trust issues. It's not true. I think you need to understand, and if you go to www.WIDU.africa, you will see something there. You will see a bird. The logo is a bird. That bird will go to Africa during a cold season in Europe to go and lay an egg or 2 and then brood, and it will fly back to Europe when it is warmer in Europe. And that is a symbolism. It's a symbolism of we in Africa who go abroad, but we always keep going back. Either we go back physically or we go back monetary-wise. We send money back to Africa. So what the Germans did was they did something which was very innovative. They said, look, how much money do you spend per month? I know somebody who spends around about 300,000 shillings per month because he is either constructing something, or he has bought a property, or he's educating somebody, or he's supporting family. Yeah? So what the German said was, it is not sustainable for you to keep sending money to your family and friends. That's why WIDU is actually supposed to be family and friends. Because nobody can invest money in you if you are not family or friends. So WIDU said, because you are supporting family or friends in Africa, instead of sending them money that they can just use for consumerism, we are going to help you to help them establish sustainable businesses so that they are free from your, being this thing, you call it black tax, so that you are free from black tax. And that's how it came. It's not about trust. It's nothing to do with whether they think an African is dishonest and the African in Europe is more honest. It might be a secondary thing, which is what I wanted to come to. So primary reason is because they want to help us who are in Europe to be independent of endless taxation by family, because money goes into paying bills and not going into sustainable businesses. The other thing is because there is a bit of accountability problem in Africa, which might fit into what you are saying, somehow, and it's because when you are in Europe, if you say, for example, I'm going to use this 100,000 shillings in Kenya to invest in poultry, there is a way you can account for that money in Europe that in Kenya you can actually say, I'm going to use it for poultry, but you end up going to marry a second wife. And you still present a receipt that you actually invested in poultry in Kenya, even though you have a second wife in the house. So there was a bit of, that idea of accountability being more with me as a diasporan. And that is why if WIDU thinks the money is not used well, they actually will ask me to refund it. You get it? So it's something which is serious. You don't just take that money and think, oh, no. My role as a diasporan is to ensure that you use the money exactly the way we agreed you're going to use it. So let's wrap it up this way, Tilingi. WIDU supports you by giving you 50% of your target investment, a maximum of 2,500 euros converted. If you have 1,250 euros equivalent in Kenya, 217 today, you ask me to help you with 217,000. We raise, both of us, 435. WIDU will give you 435,000 shillings. If you cannot afford that, you say, okay, 125, 125, that is 42,500, 42,500. We go and ask WIDU for money. WIDU gives us the equivalent of that double. It will always double what we raise. What you and I raise, WIDU will double that. And then that money needs to be accounted for. The accountability needs to be everything you buy, you upload the receipt. Everything you don't pay with a receipt, you have an agreement, somebody signs, provides a photocopy of the ID, and then you upload it still. You will always have a coach. You have a coach the first time you get your project approved. You have a coach the second time you've used up your 50% of the money. You have a coach the second time you've used up WIDU's money. And then if you use it very well, WIDU tells you to come again. You can go 3 times as a Kenyan investor from that minimum of 250 euros joint to 2,500 euros joint. Yeah? And WIDU will always double it like that. The other thing is you need evidence every time. So if I send you money, I would need to present evidence to WIDU by uploading the receipt. If you receive the money I send you, you need to take a screenshot of the M-Pesa and upload that to WIDU so that they also see, okay, this guy received money today. And it is so much money. I think that was it. And then the third one is WIDU still allows you, so not allowing, but WIDU still gives you 250 euros, which is equivalent to 42,000 shillings today, as what they call Corona support. So what they do is basically they say, because of Corona, a lot of businesses suffered. If you've benefited from WIDU, we are giving you the grant, which is what you have agreed, but we give you a bonus of 250,000, 250 euros to go and use for whatever it is you want to use. You don't need to present a receipt for that. It's for your own investment.
Thank you very much.
supports everything. WIDU supports every business which is sustainable, that can create jobs, except the ones that are illegal. Yeah.
One last clarification. I think we are going to talk currently the program there is another one that is coming for women. So this one that is running and then me again I go not about.
Yeah. So there is what we call WIDU original grant. Is the one where you need a diaspora partner. You need somebody from the 9 participating countries: Austria, Switzerland, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. This person needs to be the one to register, because they need to present evidence of identification, and then they will send you a link by email. Your email is needed. You cannot be sent an email, a link by WhatsApp. An email is required for you in Kenya. So this is called WIDU original grant, where you need a diaspora guy. And then there is what is called a local call. A local call doesn't require a diaspora guy. It's you to come up with an idea and say, you know what, I have Tilingi something, and I want to do digitization, for example. I want to set up my shop on the website or something like that. Then you apply for that money. The contest is for 5,000 euros. I don't know how many people they are awarding that, but they are very good examples. There is Samo T, for example. If you go to the internet, you look for Samo, SAMOO. The girl got about 300,000 Kenya shillings. She took part in a call. There are some 2 girls, I think they call them Gavo, gluten-free in Eldoret. They got, I think, 500,000 Kenya shillings, so probably more actually. I think they got 5,000 euros for that. So you get these ones. The calls are coming in different forms. By 2012 December, there was one called a green call. By this year, there is one called women call. It's going to come. I don't know when, but it's good to go to WIDU.africa, WIDU.africa. Subscribe to them on internet, on Facebook and on Twitter. Then you will always get an alert when they post something. It is real. Tilingi, it is real.
Angen, it is very real. Kagere kapsa meet the boy and bomani. And I was very impressed because I really followed through. It was a live nini and it went through for up to 2 hours. And I'm really impressed to go to this time. And I also Jamigora your live video and I've been following up on this thing. So asame what you are negit ko kage tebu I think we've exhausted the questions. Maybe there's one more.
If somebody has a question, just give them. Yeah.
Yes, keder mi bara.
Oi kata gitepe kakilechin Jason mat konget ko gitepe tebutik cheberberen amu kimeche simutai kakiberisab akichek kekuin ambassador sikemwochi biik kelechi yemi ki neuni komache singetebenen ketinye uwezo kewolu amu sikeku ambassadors sikeku biik cheu achek ak arap Too chekimuchi kereisen samani kesom Jason kelechi yechengwech bichu sikicheru chepkondok sikokonektanech. So alen ateb kityo ale a call kolastani for how long, like the way you are saying ile mi chito nemache komanda in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, something like that. It lasts for how long? Atya ko project ko uyo ke mentionen ile ki-expectani kele in 3 months ko kaitau yeku stepo. Ang neuno kemwoe ile mi biik chebo chai ko uyo lastani longer than more than 5 years ketoi kenyorin chepkonda nekaek return. So I don't know how does that apply. Maybe you can just clarify that.
Yeah, I think you mixed up several things, to be honest. So a call is different. A call it is open now, apply. Yekakobor application window ke close na ke assess na kikoito chepkondok. That's a different thing. I have no experience about the length of time. A typical WIDU original grant, you are allowed a window of 6 months to invest from start to finish, right? So if a project is approved today, within 6 months, you should complete the project totally. Kotkonyo WIDU, that coach visit number 3 needs to happen within 6 months. So you cannot say I'm getting money and then, I stay for the next 2 years. No. And typically, I see people completing it in 2 months. The one that we did, the first one with the lady from Jebole, in 2 months we were done. And then she applied again. And she was very fast. Again, in 1 month, she was done in the phase of investing our joint investment. So the one you talked about, the Samo tea, they are not growing tea. I think that was the question you should have asked first. What are they doing? They are not growing tea. They are basically going to a factory, collecting the tea, and then doing value addition. They add ginger, they add cinnamon, they add whatever, and then they are selling. That's already a project which is running. They got a call money of 300,000 shillings. They invested it in, branding and buying whatever it is they wanted to buy. It is an ongoing project. The moment you are done with WIDU, you can go and collapse. Nobody cares. What is important is that WIDU ensures you are coached enough to make your business sustainable so that you don't collapse. But the window for you to finish everything is basically 6 months. And the window to construct anything, if you want to start a construction, from start to finish is 3 months. So like what I'm doing now at Septonog, I need to finish it within 3 months. So that then I put whatever it is that needs to be put in, so that in the next 3 months before the 6 months elapse, I should be able to, make money. And that's also what WIDU does. When they give you money, they expect that they can pay for you labor. You can have a business where you say, I need to hire somebody to, let's say, Atinya Tuga, and I want to hire somebody to, to take care of the cows, for example. And WIDU can, part of the money, it doesn't need to come from WIDU, but part of the budget can pay for that person. But the maximum amount of time you can pay for labor is only 3 months. Because WIDU expects you that in 3 months you will have broken even and you can sustain your business and pay for yourself.
Abwati ale kakokuyop keter kunoto komie. Maybe ngot tokomi chi age netinye tebut in regards to that.
I can just listen, Tilingi. If there is a question, I can come back later.
Huyu amishi mi kimayong.
Wewe Mayo.
Mimi nimeingia very late na nimesikia tu. I've never heard of WIDU. I've checked online. It's okay. The question I want to ask is I want to chat with you so that we don't keep on repeating on things. So how can I do that after this?
I mean, come on. You see me there. Click that profile. You have access to me. There is a link there to a post. It takes you to my Facebook page. You can go inbox me there. You will get my WhatsApp number there as well. Just always, as I say, please start with an introduction.
I said I came late and this first time I just...
No problem. Just click the link there. Let's go and talk. But please introduce yourself. Don't come and say, I heard you on WhatsApp and I need more information. I will not answer. Because I also try to save myself time. No introducing it, we can do it.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Chat. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Arab Tilingi, are you recording? Probably Kimayo can, the recording can be resourceful to Kimayo, and as a skiza badai.
Thanks, I'll appreciate if I can get
it. It is recorded. You can see at the top left, it is recording.
Yeah, it's recording. Thank you.
Yeah. But, we can side chat, Kimayo. Just, come, very clear question, introduce yourself, we can do it. It's no problem.
I'm happy to
answer. I answer everybody. The only problem I don't answer is somebody who doesn't introduce themselves.
I'll introduce myself. Of course, if I stand here and
Karibu.
that one is not difficult. Thank you.
Karibu. Good. Tilingi.
kongoi Matelo. Chamgolen madre ne namwa aebe. So genge
Yeah.
namuni ebe kidogo ya tugul kikwoyo eng somok lakini ngot komi tebutiet age tugul na netinye chi much itebena personally and then I'll forward it to Jason maybe so go clarify on that. But
Yeah, and
kama
Tilingi, as you are posting, because I've just seen it went live the last 5 minutes.
yes.
The project I was telling you called Sila in Tururo.
Yes.
Sila has just received a 1,056 egg capacity automatic hatching machine, courtesy of WIDU. I'm going to share it now. If you go to my page, you will see he has just put up a photo there of the hatching machine. He has just received it. He is going to be able to hatch 1,056 eggs every 3 weeks, courtesy of WIDU, 84,000 shillings.
Thank you very much. Aram ngot komi chi nekakotinye tashwishi akobwotyin kole Leon ako mamache berbera big chok this is something as an entrepreneur majina ile ngimi business age tugul omete nyokoriet cham kumwoe kolen cham kumwoe weche Kiswahili kole uoga ni umaskini ngot kotesetai nyokoritu iwei mekanye Letukany keyai kiy nekilen broadcast mongen amu ui kutit ngele procrastination neiyoptoi kit akile
Kukaibet Tilingi anan anege nekabet?
kakasin nya aya koinyekeso
Uni kasin ing yoto.
kamwae alen a positive aboibochini kokakas for example koyakamwa Jason kole mita a guy nebunu Kabiemit and ki approachan inendet ako it was from this space amache kora mutai kenyekeng'ololi kuni nyokomwoe Jason kole you know from this space kobit biik oeng'u anan ko somok kolecho ko ki positive with this thing ako apply ako kako benefiten from this is the ngot mami kiy ane naboibochini ko kakas ale ka benefiten biik out of such a forum because the reason siketinye forum neu ni ko to bring knowledge to people to expose people to things kama kongen that is the best gift naboibochini ane so amache amwachi kongoi missing yakamwae kora ale you know maybe you can support this space as I said today also it's my birthday ngokemache iyago chebo simoni chebo soda akase katorosit mokta my number is there on top of the space so maybe kamache akochi Kether nekit ine kora ngele yakakonyo chi neu Jason akakomwoiwech kiy age tugul ngele kebendi chacham kelen tumeshikwa na butwa
Chelimo yomune.
Makitenu kakatakityenu happy birthday korok kakiutye kele kaaro kakatakityenu happy birthday. Nguyache sikechomchi chi tugul korok koek speaker aki how many chamchin space speaker ata sikityenu happy birthday Jason amin nani Tilingi sorry akong'alal Jason ipkoname anyway other than that happy birthday kinen Tilingi korok so kakemwochi kongoi Jason because this is really something kokikere kiatyem aingian wito inoto ko kitomo anai ale kayoche itinye chito nemite diaspora So ko kiatyem aingian ale nalachen kole kiaplanda ko makere komiten in yakere ale uni ka ale tugun chebo Jason chu amu kilen icheng ilen isajan isilen ini kolechin ini imi chamanian anan kole kobetwo but now kakeelewan kele une so kakonetech tugun chekororonen mising akere ale uni mache sikesom Tilingi kot itokyi mising kimasta nebo development amu polatet ko ngap komatoretech ki mising lakini ikere nebranin ikere ile kakinetech akot achek chekilen kele ngakalen Jason mache ngitinye degree akisoman kole komache ingen ile akile makitare ng'omnon ko mekere kakenai tuguk chechang so kimwochini kongoi akabwoti ale kimache sikemande sikesom biik chok akichek keker kele ka plan so tugun chemyachen cho chekororonen ako ngekas kele rono chito nekakoborgei ngete keboiboitu kora amu that is somebody nekakenai kele at the end of the day ko nailen icheru 1,050 koma chito netos ng'etin manager inegei that person can employ about 10 or so people so kokakoisto biik chechang cheng'ete chekatatakomi sang olin kocheng'e kasi ako noton nekemoche tugul amu yeiegu chito inyegei neketestai ako kokwet tugul kole ko biik chenyikokutungchinin lakini kararan ngomi kokakoeken keityi biik so we are very proud we are very happy Jason kikosenenkei kabisa kele kararan komi chi neuno netoretech so kingen kele ingen kora links chechang so achek cheu Dennis ing yo kakomwa Dennis ing yo ak ane kole komeche sikesomin ing taban kelechin chengwech biik kole kecheng akot 200 kole komakinde komakonuitu chechwaket 200 komaketestai kesapoten kora idea inito so this is something nekikere kele ngeteken approach neu nitoni kowolokse angot ng'alekab polotet because biik chetinye chepkondok ak biik chekimen ko ngomuchi chito kong'etin kwachigei boisienyi komakolopototi cho kilen kirwooti chebo siasa mising kase kole ng'o netinye ideas keng'etin uyo katakochome nani kolenin oye plembechonik biik cho kimuchi kenai kele chito ni ko plembechwet anan ko ni ko nemwoiwech iman kemekeni better decisions amu kitinye chepkondok chechoket makonanyi koberberenech siling 100 sikong'etin asikikochi kura kwo kopetita kotestai komwoiwech lembechek alak so ngetokchigei oret neu noto especially biik chekemite spaceni kokakenyoru ng'omnotono kakokonech Jason komatkekany koek puch ngikilchigei sikeker kele ara kilyochini kot komutai kelen akichek kikisapotenchi ako kikotestai nemie nemutai ngovisiteni Jason kelechini oye nyoiro akot akichek chichi kikakisapoteni kenyoru tugun chekiyoche korono chito nekakonyor kwai ketinye ng'oliondonoto kimwoe so I think that is the best that is the best that I can say now kokakemwa ng'alek cheu cho kole komakemoche takeng'etin kemwet ak ng'alekab polotet mising so amache atarchi yoto anendet mamache tamwa ng'alekab polotet mising kongoi
mising Peter, abwoti ale kaitar mabwoti ale totinye ng'al chechang kosir yotok arap to
Wai arap Tilingi.
ara makai kashige ole kakomwaita ara matelong ile ara makekilgei nguno sinama eut mutai akichororche ngwa choronok aeng somok
Aja unoto ng'alek choto cho nguno kokake when we have the information right now and we can act kotakoi ke chekororon atiam matkoek kityo ng'alalet puch.
Yes kakeng'et kidogo kale ikasa
Akasin kabisa komi ane akasin
testai kemwoe len matkoek ng'alalet puch
kami arori alenin kakomwa ng'alek matelong chetechech ko nguno kaek kityo ngona icheket chekakecherech kele ongenamgei eunek nekakimit mising nekabacham mising ko no imuchi inam chito eut that mite chito nemite gaa yun netindoi ki netos ai amuchi amuschi chi neu Matelong, imuch akine komuschi choronok kenai kele tos ngakoite 200 kot kimuchi ketoritoito ano chichindonin ko kararan kunoto no. Nebo aeng ko ni ongemushigei akiyai boisionik tugul. Nepkorubei nebo somok ko kabolotet, kangetau space ko kabolotet ko kakoek WIDU mising. Ko in kakomwa chingyo kole nganami bolotet ketinye jukumu achek mising keyai boisionik. Ongot kikikchi ke achek tugul kenai kele kemite village yun, kemite county kobutyinech responsibility kobit keyai boisionik ko mat keng'ololse mising eng bolotet amamitei boisiet nekeyoe acheket eng kurgat yun. Ko in kakamwa eng tai ale eng emotunwek alak koyookse boisionik amu tinye amune biik cheindochin kole ameche aachi biik kuni ak kuni. Ko ndakatinye chitugul kimnatet ak naet neu nebo Matelong, itinye muguleldo nebo itoret biik ko tou notok. Ta tuguk nguno cheu G2G ko kingotau serikali ko ki suppose kotoretech kotechech ko ki emet tugul, lakini makitinye kiyotok. Ko ngetaunegei ngacheke kenai kele kitinye responsibility ketoret biik chok eng kenyisiek 5 eng kenyisiek 10 chebwone eng tai yo. Ko ngowetito notok, kongoi kapsa neo mising Matelong, kongoi Kipruto ako kongoi eng chitugul nekakonyo space. Kararan.
Kongoi mising Arapto. Mabwati ale mi kiy notese kosir yotok. Kakemwa chechang ako abwati ale ingele angetauini, that is why sekamwa ale ngemwa kele bolotet ak kemwa kele kemwa koba boisionik chebo counties ko ngemwa sine ngachangan keng'ololi akobo ng'alekab national government koya kamwa Jason kole kikararanit amu kikekonech boisionik keyochi eng olimbo counties, which I also appreciate. Ko part of the things nguno chekikere kamwa nguno Jason nguno ko ngenyekeyai mung'aranotok nguno ko kit kityo nekisome ko kenyoru a good working environment nebo counties amu ngele sikeyoe tukchu tugul kora kemoche licenses, komoche kenyoru kora market nebo tuguk. Ana aboibochini mising amu kokoyotok is sokosiek. Abwoti for example achek nguno eng olimbo Kipkarenselia ketinye soko nekikeyat ako kimakomi kong'ete kimi sine kitambo sikeker nguno akinye keyat ako ngelen iro kokopiken. But one challenge notinye kityo ameche amwachi biik chok, biik chechang cheibu tuguk kobwa soko nebo Selia ko kokoek cheng'ete town Eldoret. Nginyoru nguno karishek chebwone Selia Friday saa 12 saa 11 ko kikopangan kikonyit karishek bwone soko Selia asubuhi mapema, jioni kora kou notok kowekto tuguk kwak. Ako so you can imagine ngibikere nye chito korote kurubet chito kong'ete Eldoret town konyo Selia 30 kilometers from town, kolipan fare, kolipan transport anan kolipan anything cheu choto chebo akonyo kwalda ko mekere ile ingenchigei nye chito kole ngawe Selia yun amu kalany karit siling 150 ak kalany siling 150 akoweksei, labda amu kakirotwo musiket nemi barak yun ko mia for example kakirotwo musiket nebo siling 200. So ingen kole eng rabinichu kaboisie nekit 800 ko at the end of it all aweku rabinik. So kalya mokany koik achek chekealdoi tuguk ingen anan ngot ko maane isupporten chito chorweng'ung nemi ngot komite chepkameting'ung yun labda akot nekimawo sukul anan ko nemite kurgat yo mite akot ndama chepkameting'ung akot ngot itinye sigindet chito labda tokomuchigei tokwai mung'ara anan kong'o chi age tugul neimuchi akot tai kityo ko chito neikere ile ikiligei. Malasima akot ko chi akot neotupche akot chorwa neng'ung ngokiosomani tuwai we akomi kurgat yun maimuch kotestai eng sukul anan ndakaimba koleitang'ung akikere ile chi neikiligei kolya makiname eut kosir kikochini handouts chokikochini kole handouts chokikochini kotuche biich konyek. But ngisupporten chito in a program neuni kotokoi kokaiwal amu ngilen iro kangikas kit nekamwa Arap Jason kokamwa kole kit netaketeni WIDU cohesion kole ka support ninyi in one ke, and then at the same time ko create an employment for another person agine sikobit kosutke konyo barak agine kidogo. It's about the eradication of poverty. Sikobit inyoru agine iamishe koskoleny karon again ak lunch. So these are the programs che igere le very important, unless amache akochi labda Shadrack itinye ngalyo amwa
Yes.
bwati ale amache by 10:30 kokakikesu mamache kengetye mising. Yes, Shadrack.
Okay, ane kekurono Shadrack Limo. Ami ane China. It is my first time actually to participate kwa this space. Lakini before then,
Itaga
yeah,
Shadrack.
okay, abunu leglen taboyat.
Taboyat ko miano?
Mitay Nandi Hills on your way to Siret.
Oy.
Yeah. So ami leglen.
Oh, sawa.
So before then ko kya farm na ba poultry. Kikataune 500. I think it was 2020. Ko kanita samaja amwa ko in based on that experience in kyaro ale before you start like more than 1,000 ko majagarok inganile magat nang especially feeding program chebo kuku juta amu majagarok in amu kyal naro konga majagarok chito nekemetaji komeje kokakwa ngalekab training korok konai kole magat sangapi amu magat iwal feeding yani mameje uchafu. So kyal naro kora ko magat aki training ing biik chechang amu especially our biik chebo gaa chebo kalenjin ko mengen kasi na kilen kujituma ko aja korok kenet bichu korok konai yani kujituma kabisa. But in the end ane ko kyanget in kya survive ak some funded achetatas kora ko before our China ko kyalda some of it ako kyamakan ngota yani kikono an yani kyamuch angetin raisen like 90,000. So alena that project in fact hata kama mimi ni the first part kuja kwa this part kal narane alen I can be part of it and I can register because anya experience aganganale it can make a difference especially in those people in the big jamiga gitu bujaleng gitu wa inya na ya kwagi so anganale ni so kongoi
kongoi mising. Imi China ano?
ami Nanjing.
Oh, makiami koronoto ngai subi kelyekchu.
Kimite wichia
Akibunu taboyat amengen ile kiami China?
abunu lakini chaendi mwezi wa 11 alatia.
Okay, kiamite Ushi.
Angen Ushi.
The second biggest city.
Okay.
Kiamite Jiangnan University for 4 years.
Oh.
Aga ingin sa bunu ka, ingin na labunu.
Kana ole bunu. Wa in fact tangko tu wa tagi relatives.
Me iba ka kwe?
Aba ka bin kabrotu.
Oh, kanain vizuri. Arang ko taboyat ketinye project netai ko kikitoi ing yotok nebo ingen my brother-in-law Kipkimba, Jonah.
Angen Jonah.
The first project in area inato ko nebo Jonah nebo ngokaik is in fact he was paid the other day how much 180 something thousand shillings by WIDU.
Okay.
And then nikacheru nguno nikobo Kaptuma mi yoto ngwony kole.
Angen Kaptuma.
nitoni nikaba chemngesut nobo 400,000 800,000 almost kuba kaptuma.
Okay.
Very good. So ukele ngeconnectan tugul amu ii chito nekararan kora neimuchi itoret biik ngolimbo gaa. Kuyo kemwa iman ko shida neo nebo biikab poultry ko amitwogik at the moment ko very expensive nebo kwong'ut en amitwogik.
Yes.
So kito nekitieme keyai akot eng project nanyu nguno phase 2 awendi ayae DIY, awendi achopchinigei amitwogikab chebo ngokaik.
Maji ichop solar kuin
achobe azola ak black soldier fly ak aale pelletizer sa achopchinigei pellets eng yoto.
Okay.
In septonok. So because if you think about it, the most expensive part of production go feeds. 90% of the cost of production go feeds.
Yes.
And 90% of the cost of feeds go the cost of proteins.
yes.
So ngisolven the source of proteins, go solven a lot of your losses in farming.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Kongoi mising arab rotu ngin taboyat, eh?
Ara magai ka sanyo mgemwa igelen tiejo laga tej madriado. Ara magai ro arab rotu magai nai lo teje.
Yeah, ganai. So in fact kabangani ingani kato manale what if we do amu kainjani sana amu li China saya ko satsa. Kale narwa ka sale jiga ngumi biche mi meeting ale jiga angon ngale ngi gas ngo anda bigile ngo tabi sa agas tagen ale tos mo ana biju.
Ara ngai ilibua.
So
Ay gongo ara rotu.
okay.
So you can link. You guys
okay.
can check. There is a link in the comment there. I think it's been shared by Tilingi and also by myself. How WIDU works. A lot of the questions will be answered there. But if you have questions and you come clearly with what it is you want to do and how you want to be helped, I'm doing this thing voluntarily. I don't work for WIDU. It's just that if we lose this thing, we will not understand how we lost it, you know. Lewani, there is no other country which is doing what WIDU is doing.
Okay.
Yeah, Gongwe.
Gongwe.
Kongoi missing.
Tilingi.
Mangen ale nganami ngon gojirit sabin la bigab legetya akager ka sere rani. Abwati ale labda kobwa icheket kotebin tebutik aeng somok ko kuyo mwangen ale cham ko chi tibik chechang kayangen ale choto che supporteni ako nda memuchi kwai komuchi bitoret mama nengung nga imuchi bitoret papa nengung nga gineu noto za projects che imuchi itoret sigik malazima koik inyende ne implementeni, you know, sa iger tebe sigindet kit nechome mat koi kokenye bi impose na project ne labda ko inendet ko memuchi. So a project ne igere ile vibe ako tos ai inendet atyo si ingele bicho kora komache sike ikoni atkan kora ikoni amu ingele chapkonda nekakonyo neuni cham kemwoe kelen kakile mesa kobiyen konyil atai konyil aeng. So abwati ale ngot komi chi netokotinye tebut age tugul inye anan ngot kotokomi chi netinye ng'olyo abwati ale ornoto mi kitugoti. So kokameche akono kityo labda muda kidogo nafasi labda kokonu ng'al aeng somok ketukatanden sokochi Jason kotilite eng olimbo let. Arap tos itinye ng'olyo anan ngot komi chi age tugul nemite anan even through the comment section komagere mabwati ale agere tebut nekakoteb chi. Ngot komi chi nemache koteb and ngot komi chi magere on my DMs kora agere ale magere tebut age tugul. Abwati ale nekit kaketoch tebutik tugul chekami. Ameche akochi Ropto labda komwa ng'al aeng somok akochi Kipketer komwa chechik aeng and then kokerwech Arap Jason.
Uyakamata atinye ng'olyo Arap Tilingi. Kameche kityo amwa kuni in the next 1 or 2 months, I think you should purposely schedule a space for Matalong to do a follow-up. so that we be responsible and sungoko mite chi ne uyama matanam komie ko kibwotchigei kora. I mean a pure space for investment ideas, or rather anything to do with investment, so that sigibwotchigei ngoma WIDU inege ngot komite any other opportunity we can still talk comprehensively about investments, especially for our people back at home. Ko kongoi no ngoete tanotok ngiberurok tugul kongoi.
Kongoi missing Arab. I think we are I will do a follow up on this. Labda sukumwa iwa kora Jason kuleja labda ko konyor bika yung samoge. Maybe I can even be one of them. Magna ngo gamge mo igelen ngo ruwaj mo yanan ngo. Anajam ko mo dano bika pwalenjin unada. So we will do a follow up on this. At the kama kora siko ngot komi jing na mite within the tech space. Again, there are some people that request any maybe opportunities that meet them within tech space, be it within the country or even outside the country. That for the opportunities to meet muchi remotely. Kukasame kora labda sokonyo kopwa big. Maybe we can get out kege moji you know. Information is power. Ago more let's not be mean on knowledge. Let's share the knowledge. And then with that, maybe we can help each other out. So, abwati ale angaga jik labda Peter my labda ko kone je remarks jik. Ako labda ko mo iwe ngali aga ako takin labda netinya nan ko got ko mi labda tebut na labda kay nyorun ko la ko omo jite.
Mo atinye tebut sine kale nager ko in maybe kityo ngaleja kamwae Dennis kole in expandan age chute kora nya ile in expandan singetin sityem imutu biik cheterter in anan kecheng biik cheterter because ku information na kakokonech in Jason ing ya kole ko ingen information ngap ko makimuchi ketinye kora so ko ngap kelen kikesoman lakini ingen ile kebendi lainda napa profession nema tuguk chu alak chu kobunu taban wekase Jason kolenin it doesn't work for WIDU. It is something that is voluntary offer nikityo information kotoret biik. So our host Tilingi ko paglenge abwati ale through this forum kora komuch iboishe sicheng in mi biik chetinye information chebo technology those online courses, mi biik chetinye information chebo something else akot ngiro kwakere koposteni this thing nikokilen kiyae in kiyenye ngokaik kwakere sabuk chekoposteni minister nebo in agriculture eng yo is very interesting. Of course I had a number of questions lakini ndakibune ki neu WIDU ini kole kotokoi komukakse because kwalen kenyor biik cheimuchi kobai ngokaik at cost nebo amitwogik amu kokomengechitu plotini kora sine makomi cho kikilen kimuchi kebai ngokaik kobendat ngile ngomanda kidogo kolechin chito ngaamen ngwek. So ngokakobit chepkondok cheu cho chekimuchi kotoret biik konde ngokaik koek zero grazing, kikure zero grazing nebo ngokaik kotoreti biik kora. Kamwae Sabuja koai minister nebo agriculture nebo Nandi ko koai kolen imuchi inyoru almost 200,000 per month, which I think is something that is really possible ngot konyor biik chepkondok ak in support neu ne WIDU ni. So mabwoti ale tateshini ki nesire noto, mamache awo kimasta nabo siaset no nge maintain ne yuto. And I think this is very interesting. This is more interesting kosir in we can have a number of days, maybe twice a month ngot ketinye space komuch ko twice koek development ak investment ak maybe once in nini komuch ketinye koek in polotet. Kongoi.
Kongoi missing Peter. Abwati ale kay mwa ngalia nebo maana nyat. And maybe sa citizen kityo ko labda ngali agenge nya kuyo ketieme imwa ko kemwa ile ine you know maybe we can be having maybe go kamwa this year will be having our space weekly kongete maybe every Saturday and maybe sometimes labda ngot ko engage kodanga na engage on Friday, maybe I'll bring it on a Saturday. And then I always nowadays I schedule any mapema so you know so go itibik sho go itibik on IP ko lakitinye space labda mutai anan ko tungwain anan something no other so ko be the kotoretech Then maybe katinye tebut agenge no kakautie in regards to abwati ale ngabwat ko labda ko somewhere but tugul eng tugul kamache kityo labda amwachi Jason lechi kakemwa kongoi for amu you always come in at the right time sikobit and we always not we don't tire with the knowledge neikonech and voluntarily something voluntary ko kiy nekararan kiboibochini achek tugul ako ngile ngibor ko kakebor tugul ngebor ko kaibor akinye amu ngile ngokaitoret biikab gaa yu ko mutai nginyo gaa komanyo kolechinin biik kono 50 amu kiitoret so akameche acher ak ikwek tugul ale this is something neimuch isupporten you cannot even support this person directly through monetary value but ipchi this knowledge nekenyoru ipchi chito nemi gaa ipchi choronok aeng at the end of it all ko kaisolvenchi chito the problem ak isolvenchi biik alak aeng somok amu ngokaipchi chito this idea neimuchi maybe kokonem 100,000 in yun akinye kechengchi konyor sponsor nebo kokoche 100 and another 100 koik 200 kokochi WIDU another 200 labda kosakta nebo aeng kokakomuch komuch kokochi WIDU 400 labda kosakta nebo somok kunotok at the end of it all ko kaisupporten chichi ako kaikreaten employment amu ngabinyoru chito for example labda ne kakocreaten employment nebo biik 4-3 you know kaitoret bororiet and that is what is the beauty of this thing toreti oleo and then the last thing nekamache ko labda kangomwa Jason ing yo for example ku ngokaik when it comes to feeding of chicken akakere tieme meche chobe pipkenda poultry farming in ngolimbo in sanga in nini Septonok I'll visit Jason mutai kawe reserve ite Septonok ibakere I saw you kiketembea niwe Bomet olin and I saw that lady nechobe azola and then the black soldier fly which is high rich in protein and that process was just overwhelming kiaboibochine ako I think an animal feeds nothing in Gelretio ako chamo always black soldier fly natak as one of the things doesn't big chebaen kokai and from what I saw I realized that kaimuch achaba kotakinenga akinye labda akinye alda and than buying it and then selling it and if you want to go through it go through ngimuchi we Facebook page nebo Jason it's there on his your profile and you go directly into that page you can watch that even the whole of just take your time you watch and through the azola those are feeds jekiboe in ngokaik and meleleki neui nafas kityo kidogo akomuch produce and in fact ngotitinye akot nafas neo komuch akot iproduce koboto chekioldo and I believe that if you do something like this komi biikab kokwet che ngokakoboibochi koker kole ngokararan ki kopen from you and you know labda kobai ngokaik iproviden the feeds so this is something ne monumental ne melen netoreten inyeke ngokaik kokako implement and you know I always that believe seeing is believing ngokanyo koro biik chemi kurgat yun koker kole this project of yours is it's wendi through or ngile ngap ngokas biik ki age kityo through labda radio anan kokas kikorong TV kokere implementation kole woi lakini ngokakonyo kwako koker kole acha akinye ngot komuchi kwai nipketer anan komuchi kwai arapta anan komuchi kwai pkoskei ko ne nekirindo ane simai so I believe that is the spirit ako amache amwa kongoi missing eng akwek tugul the listeners also I also aboibojini and I want to amache acher ak ladies you know this is something na aboibojini ako tibik chechang kocham ko they really big supporters chebo sigik ngolibo kurgat ngikas komwoe sigindet sai kole chebanum nekotoreto so I believe that these are ideas chemuch onyoru if you have anything maybe you can extend it to for example ngotitinye tebut neimuch itebe Jason ing yo he's already told you kakomwaun you go directly to him just introduce yourself basically kuye kamwa mwochige ilechi huni I'm inquiring about this and this be so direct because so that you can also try to save the time koelewan chichatak singokawalun akot akinye kokasave I have an interest of even answering because mamache so that we don't go back and forth ateben alechini kainga korok kele cherotich ngoro something like that. So abwati ale nekit katuch tugul katuch ngalek chekotinye amoche akot akochi Jason labda komwa ng'alyo agenge and then kituch tetutiet brand amu amoche kelimitankei to just 2 hours maybe ngot ngosirto mising ko 2 hours 30 minutes so that kit nekaking'ololi kotokeibot eng metit mamache nekitepche ketayankei. So Matelo.
Kongoi Tilingi, I think we don't need to take a lot of time. So what I have done is we spoke about WIDU today. WIDU is WIDU. The website is WIDU.africa. It is a grant offered by the German government through the GIZ, the International Development Cooperation Agency. And what WIDU does is it funds your ambition by giving you 50% of the money you want to invest, anywhere between 250 euros to 2,500 euros. That's on what is called WIDU Original Grant. And that, if you convert it, goes to anywhere between, I think around about 45,000 Kenya shillings to around 450, around 430,000 Kenya shillings. That's the amount of money you can get for free. All you need is to raise your 25% of that money, and then you ask somebody in 9 participating countries to raise for you another 25%. So you and me, I am in Germany, for example, and Germany is participating among the 9 countries. You and I, we raise 50%, and then WIDU gives us 50%. That makes it your 200,000. That means you need 50. I give you 50. We raise 100. We go for WIDU. It gives us 100. That makes it 200. Anywhere between 250 to 2,500 euros. If we raise 2,500 euros, WIDU will give us 2,500 euros. If we raise 250 euros, WIDU will give us 250 euros. Any number between 250 euros and 2,500, that's okay. You can get matched for that. This is the first one. The second one is you need to make a friend with somebody. You know Bagule, you know your Bagule's former girlfriend, you know your Bagule's former girlfriend's friend, you know your Bagule's cousin, you know your cousin's cousin, you know your cousin's girlfriend's cousin, etc., etc. Just find a way you can make friends with somebody in any of the 9 countries here. If you don't, then talk to somebody who is already in the US or in Luxembourg or in Finland, because these are not participating in this part of Europe, or the UK. Tell them you would like to get some help, but because you are not conversant with people here, it is easier for them to make friends. It is easier for somebody in Luxembourg to speak to somebody in Belgium or in France. It is easier for somebody in the UK to speak to somebody in Denmark or Norway, or somebody in Finland to speak to somebody in Sweden. If they use their connections, they can open for you a door, because you need somebody from this part of the world, A, to create their account, B, to provide their evidence of residence, C, to invite you into WIDU. You cannot register for WIDU in Kenya unless you have a link which comes to you through email. It is only the guy who is in the participating countries in Europe who can register afresh, and then that person would be free to invite you. It is free money with an asterisk, free because you are not asked to refund, but it is with an asterisk because you need to account for it. You need to provide evidence that you've actually spent that money the way you promise. And WIDU is not just giving you money and sitting back to wait for you. No, it is giving you money, and then WIDU will always be sending somebody to come and check. The first time when the project is approved, they send a coach. The second time when you've invested your 50%, they send a coach. The third time when you've invested the last 50% from WIDU, they send a coach. All right? So, and the best thing I can tell you about it is you don't need to write a project proposal. The way, a business proposal where you have a business case, you justify, you have mapping of competitors, you do SWOT analysis. Those of you who've done this, you do things called Potter's 5 forces. You don't need to do that. WIDU has simplified it for you. All you need to do is something called an investment plan. I'm going to buy mabati, it costs so much. I'm going to buy cement, it costs so much. I'm going to buy posts, it costs so much. That's all. WIDU will send you somebody who will come and draw a business plan for you. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So that is one called WIDU Original Grant. There is a second one which is called the WIDU Local Call, which is targeted this year at women. Sometime it was in the past, it was targeted at sustainability or green efforts, things like sustainability, etc., etc. So you guys make friends and then use those friends to open doors for you. If you don't have somebody who is abroad, start somewhere. But please, if you want to talk to somebody abroad to look for somebody for you, don't come and say, hey, I have a super good idea in business and I need somebody to work with me. Can you look for a friend for me? Dead end. Because where do I start? Yes, I see you are excited about it. But what am I going to tell somebody who is looking for help? You don't even introduce yourself. What is the business you want to do? How much money do you have? How much money is your business going to take? Etc., etc. You know, all these things. So I think there is an aspect of also self-communication and self-expression. If you cannot market your business using something called a business pitch, that you can tell me in 10 seconds or in 20 seconds or in 1 minute or in 2 minutes what it is you want to do and why should I care and how is it I can help you, then I think we have a problem. You might not be able to sell a product if you cannot sell an idea. It's a way we understand how these things work. Tilingi has talked about examples of some of the projects which are ongoing. I have just shared. If you go to my page on Facebook, you will see a young guy who just received his money, 211,000 Kenya shillings the other day. He's just bought an incubator worth probably 84,000 shillings, able to hatch 1,056 eggs. And we were in another project in Sotik. I have just shared here a link to the video that Tilingi was talking about. Azolla is Azolla. It is something that grows on water. But it's like utilol. It's a water fern. It grows on water. It is super rich in proteins, very easy to grow. It doubles its mass weight in 72 hours. Every 72 hours, the kilos become 2 times, you know. So you get very good feeds at very good quality, but how to keep it is something that you need a bit of skill on that. You can watch that video. You will see us, you know, visiting the lady in Bomet. She's doing black soldier fly herself. And Tilingi, you're of course welcome if you want to get a bit of skill on how to rear black soldier fly. I'm happy to give you that information for free. Ngule bureau boy, 1,000 euros per hour more information not, but I can give you for free, you know. Yeah. So it's up to you, you know. And then I will use it as a demo farm so that you can come and look. I heard somebody mention about the Nandi County poultry. You know, I have a contract with Nandi County to help them develop black soldier fly, a model farm at Kaimosi. It's only that nothing has happened. You know, I have a contract, it's signed, fully executed, fully signed, but nothing has happened. I'm ready to go and do it. So there is money. If you have an idea, all you need to do is 2 things. Make friends in 9 countries in Europe. Any one friend, a friend of a friend of a friend. Mama ngo. Agut chine ngung lagi nyani kya side chicks imete iwe bi njo si somnyo tap kata gi isye mo gi jute ge ngonya chi le nyo iwaga ngi bwatu lagi nyo lagi jam ge ai tansi umeta ne ata kunet le ye.
Gongoi missing Jason. Maybe gongoi abwati almami gina ta shini kai talita. Ngot kumi jine tinye through the comments nga ko post Jason that video ne ba ko kika penda ngolimbo Bomet ko gere it was Sotik Sotik ko mi Bomet ko gere agoba chapter in Azolla and maybe that black soldier fly. So that ngoti tinye te puta ka tul na siria ta ko muchi te. Lakini ko bunane ngoli amaja le ngoi ne te tanyang mren. Unless ko mi jine agana tinye te put ne kakauchi. Tapos ko mga tinyang aliana amaja magchale amakwa kemba ut nemye. An ketere tin ngalian gue age atin ne.
Aja matinye ng'alyo kalen sasam forum kityo alechi saran ka birthday neng'ung sikwalun kekis chi neimuchi.
Aja iman brother. Eh,
Ya,
Ai,
guya min biya nye. Ingela weekend maya biya. Tutaona.
soda gitu. Soda gitu. Aja kongoi missing amacha makwagan kembaut nemye. Ing biik cheruitos labda mi biik alake wala cheka ng'etyo ingele mi biik chemi olin bo US cheka ng'etyo. So kongoi missing mabwoti ale tatinye ng'al ngot itinye chi tebut imuch you can my DM is always open. Imuch inyo my DM ak itebena ngot ko memuchi iitchi Jason atoretin atebunenin. Mi wet age nekikoyoku Jason manai ale kitakoit ano.
Ng'onyo.
Nikiayogun besho alechinin kabeto ano.
Kale
Anan
ng'omataitas
kitor
kinye.
anan tos kitor karit ing oret.
Mangen, kale ng'omataitas. Ingele ngap akorionyitu akine ne mang'etetab soiyot.
Sawa nye mni ngalia maameki ibware.
Imuchi ko Titus. Kibor Titus kabisa kobore this forum. You know, that's something that people need to understand. If you are very clear on your questions and you are very clear on your idea, mami chi neesyo kotoretin. Mami.
Sawa kongoi missing
Kongoi. Tilingi, good night again. Happy birthday and everything. Amewe tansi, right?
acha ane ami akot meche aru sahi.
Okay.
Kanamde lagok akot.
Okay.
Kongoi missing.
Aya, kongoi.
Kongoi.